Hello guys and welcome to the first part of What If Deku was the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Weirdly enough though, I'll be referring to Deku as just Izuku throughout the story because I just want to call him Deku anymore. It sounds weird to me. I don't know why, but I just want to call him Izuku, so I'll just be referring to him as Izuku. Still the same thing. There's still our lovable Midoriya, so it doesn't really matter. Also, want to apologize for that weird background noise in my last video. Don't know what it was, but it was just there. Hopefully it's gone in this one, so without any further ado, let's begin. And like I said, this is very kind of similar to What If Deku Kinetic Works, so have fun. The first part isn't like the getting into the story yet, but like it's getting there in the second part. That's when stuff goes crazy. We begin this part with the flashing of cameras in the face of Hisashi Midoriya as he stands behind a podium before many reporters and other heroes who clap for him. Thank you. It's an honor to once again have another year when I could keep people safe. There's no feeling like it, the hero said. Sir Biju. Hisashi would then pick the reporter, putting her hand up as she asked, I know this may be a bit personal, but can we get any news on your son, maybe what his quirk is? Hisashi, however, keeps a business mouth. He says he doesn't want to bother his boy with rumors, and the woman gets the hint and backs off. The hero will then ask for another question, and this little conference goes on until everything ends, and we find Biju walking out with All Might as they will be saying hi to many of their fans. So, you're really gonna do it? Asked All Might. I'll leave it to you. You'll do fine. I'll see you tomorrow, he says. He then leaps into the air and takes flight as he heads home while screams and shrieks of fans follow behind, just saying how awesome he was. He would then soon come to land in another city, that of Mutsufasu, before then landing in a forest, and he would take a few steps before then coming to see a 7-year-old Izuku doing push-ups. While he does, he would feel proud, but he can also see the bandage all over him, and as Izuku sees his father, he gets up and runs over, asking how everything was. He say it was swell while ruffling his hair. Hey, can you drop the act? It's just me, you know, said Izuku. With the side, the hero would then show a smirk as he picks up the son and laughs wildly, contrasting his much calmer nature from before as he asks Izuku, did you kick their ass? Yeah, it was 4 boys, one of them has super strength, but he sucked at using it, said Izuku, as Hisashi would then carry him into their home and he'd be laughing, and he would then put him down when he reaches inside, and Hisashi would then say he's gonna go change so they can go see his mom. And with a nod, he then goes to his room, Izuku goes to his room, and Hisashi thought, he's almost ready. When the both of them get ready and go out, Hisashi will wear a mask as to hide his face while they head to a cemetery and soon come to a stop before the grave of Inko Midoriya. Izuku sits cross-legged as he began to recount his week, I guess, to his mother, and Hisashi would show a sorrowful smile under his mask, and the smile becomes more serious as he then thought, I need to do it now. I have no time. Time skip. Hours later, night would fall, Hisashi would then enter Izuku's room and he would be fast asleep, and this would bring a smile to his father, who then walked to him and touched his hand to his belly. His veins would then grow dark as an eerie black energy begins to be transferred to Izuku, who would burst for chakra, but Hisashi would look like he was visibly in pain. Just passing on whatever he was passing to Izuku must have been really hard. Suppress it, he thought. Almost an entire minute passes until Hisashi pulls back his hand and he'd be sweating bullets as he would then cough up blood, which alerts Izuku, who would turn in his bed, but Hisashi quickly runs out and he would then lean against the door. But despite the pain, he was still smiling and started limping back to his room. It's all up to you now, Izuku. The next day, when Izuku goes to school, he heads to class with his hands on his back as he would have a bored demeanor, and when he enters class, all eyes would be on him, but he brushed it off and came to his seat. After sitting down, he would then put his hands to his chin and think about his day, just everything, about his dreams as well, and his plans. However, his silence is then broken by Bakugo, who slams his hand to the desk, earning Izuku's ire. He asks Bakugo to screw off, making him laugh. You're the son of the strongest hero, but you don't even have a, yeah, whatever, Bakugo. I don't have a quirk, and how hard was it for you to even hit me once? The two would then start to glare at each other with the kids murmuring and wanting them to fight, but the teacher would then come in saying to calm down, and just as Izuku would then yell, just stay away from me already. Upon yelling, he then releases a purple blast from his mouth that would hit Bakugo in the stomach and send him flying as he then slammed into a desk, leaving everyone wide-eyed. As Izuku closed his mouth, he would then nervously say, yeah, he's gonna need a nurse? What Izuku just used was exactly what his father could use as his main move. It's not normal for Chris to replicate like that in such a manner, but it just happened. He used the Biju bomb, which is what Hisashi is very famous for being able to do. Bakugo luckily is okay. Hisashi comes in and apologizes to Mitsuki, albeit in a passive-aggressive tone because Bakugo trying to undermine Izuku is well known. The only reason he keeps doing it is because Izuku doesn't like his father to use his powers as a hero to pull strings, but that only pisses off Bakugo more because he's aware that he has some sort of power over him, so that kind of makes him annoy Izuku and they get into fights sometimes, but Izuku just lets it slide off his back. Now as Izuku runs back to the house at the end of the day, he'll be excited and he'll be accompanied by his dad and he would say, holy shit, I got my quirk, I knew it would happen. And coincidentally, it just happened to hit the explosion kid. Nice, he says. He puts a thumbs up and Izuku says that was an accident. Not that it wasn't hilarious though. The two would then laugh at it for a bit, but Izuku would then ask when they should go to the quirk doctor, only for Hisashi to then ask him to take a seat. Oh, okay. What's up? Asked Izuku. As they sit across from each other, Hisashi would then say, my quirk isn't normal. I gave you my quirk. Izuku was surprised, and he would go to ask how that's even possible before then standing. Wait, what about hero work? You can't help anymore. Calm down. I only give you half. For now. You think I'm stupid or something? Yes. Cheeky little brat. I'm fine, but you have all my powers. Obviously, you can't tell anyone, but pretty cool, right? Totally is, but how does that even work? Yeah, that's the complicated part, said the father. This is when Izuku would gain the biggest shock of his life as he is told by Hisashi technically that his quirk, well, it's not a quirk exactly and has been passed down for generations and generations through his bloodline. What you have in your stomach now is called the tail beast. The child left wide-eyed as he would then have a blank stare, and Hisashi would slowly come to tap him on the forehead and does it again, but he just stays still and he would sigh, saying, yeah, this is gonna be hard. He gives Izuku a while to take in everything before he then starts to truly realize what he has, and he's a bit scared, but the chance to save people is what he has always wanted, so he would hold on to it. Hisashi then says that's good, because this is when their training really begins. I'm gonna pound years of fighting experience into your scrawny body. What do you mean scrawny? I'm strong as hell. Hisashi would then laugh, saying he was nothing compared to his old man, as we now have a long time skip. We resume the story with Izuku walking down the street. He walks in an almost perfectly straight line, very naturally as if he had practiced doing so for a long time, and he comes to take a shortcut under a bridge, and he stays strangely quiet until a sloshing sound is then heard from the sewers, with the huge sludge villain then making his way out, and he would then slowly reform, saying, Hey kid, can I borrow you for a moment? However, the boy just keeps walking, angering the slime, who would then say screw it, and he lunges forward as Izuku would then turn, now having lifeless eyes, as he would then disappear, but the villain manages to just barely see his face, and he knew he was done for. Instantly from the back, the sludge would then this black sludge would then latch onto him, and it quickly consumes him, and he is squished until he turns and is taken into a spherical, like, black sphere that flies to Izuku. Can't I take even one walk without villains attacking me? Said Izuku. A strong wind would then blow him forward from behind at that point, as he would then look back to see All Might, who smiles. Hey, got another one for you, said Izuku. Izuku points to All Might as the sphere would then fly to him and he would catch it. Sorry about this, Midoriya. Nah, it wasn't after me this time. He was probably just afraid of you. That's good. These attempts have been rising a lot more lately. Wanna go get something? It's been a while, said the hero, and he would then start walking backwards while asking this, but Izuku says it's okay. And with the frown, All Might would then say, fine, as he would then leap into the air. I shall see you this weekend! Izuku would then turn laughing as he heads home, and on the way home, of course, many people recognize the voice and admire him, and from afar, girls would gush at his serious and calm demeanor. And he arrives at home, and Izuku wouldn't even proceed to actually go inside when he actually arrives. He would take off his shirt as he summons a truth orb while forming it into two, and they would then take the form of dumbbells. As soon as he catches them, his muscles will then tense up immensely, and he can just adjust their weight as well as size and shape now. And with one pump, he curls, and as memories of his mother and father begin to flash before his eyes, he would just get even more motivated, and we have a time skip of 10 months. Izuku was given a recommendation, but he had the option not to go, so he didn't, and simply trained. The attention of the heroes is not what he really needed right now. He just didn't want people to like people always kind of looked at him a lot. He just wanted to stay home. So he just wanted to help people and get stronger, you know? He would then come at UA when the day came, and he heads to the class of 1A. It's huge for no reason. And who cares, said Izuku. As he slits the doors open, and instantly all eyes would then turn to him, as everyone is surprised who they see, who they see. And Todoroki would then think, he's finally arrived, my greatest obstacle. Izuku would then walk and take a seat as he sees Ida scolding Bakugo, who has his legs upon his desk, and he gives a nod to Ida, who nervously says, yes, hello. Izuku would then take a seat and sit straight as he takes out his notebook, and instantly Bakugo would then put his legs down. There, good, right? Yes, indeed. He then thought, the son of the strongest hero, Izuku Midoriya. He's said to possess the same miraculous abilities as his father. I must say hello. He then walks to Izuku and introduces himself as he would then hold his hands out, and Izuku would then grab and shake it. Nice to meet you, Izuku Midoriya. Tenya Ida. Uraka would then welcome at this moment as she would happily just say hello to everyone, and they give the same hello back, and Ida would then turn and give her a handshake as she approaches, with Uraka then telling her name, and then when she saw Izuku who waved to her, she'd be like, cool, you're the Biju's son. I'm sorry for your loss, by the way. Don't worry about it. He died happily, said Izuku. So, what was he like? Asked Kirishima. This question would then rile up everyone for questions as well, because they just want to know, and Izuku would then say he was a bit more goofy when he was at home, which is pretty cool to learn since Biju was always the serious type when he fought and was on camera. Also, you should take a seat, or teacher should, said Izuku, just as Aizawa would then walk in, not having a sleeping bag this time, as he comes to the podium while Uraraka and Ida quickly take a seat. 8 seconds, not bad. I'm your home teacher, Shota Aizawa. Seriously, they all thought? Aizawa then told him to move fast and go to the locker rooms. There you'll find your name labeled on each locker. Take the uniform inside it and meet me on the field. Wait, what about orientation? Asked Uraraka. Forget it and go. She would then quickly nod and they all just head to the locker room. She's a little scared. And as Izuku would be changing, Todoroki would then walk up to him. Shoto Todoroki, nice to meet you. He holds his hand out for Izuku, who then shakes it and he puts on his uniform saying, Izuku Midoriya. I know. Everyone knows. Yes, but it's just courtesy. Can you let go of my hand? Todoroki would then apologize and let go as Deku would then leave and soon others follow as they meet the girls outside and Aizawa, who is also there. Aizawa would then explain what they will be doing, which is quirk apprehension test. And before you say anything, it doesn't matter, Miss Ochako, said Aizawa. Uraraka would then get uneasy and look away, making Izuku chuckle, which made her even more embarrassed, and Baku was then called up and given a softball. He's asked to throw with his quirk, and because he was the #1 point getter, he got the chance to do so first. Baku would then proceed to throw the ball and reach 760 meters, as shown on Aizawa's tablet, which is just fun to see since they never get to use their quirks in school. Just like that, the kids get too excited, and Aizawa adds a little extra risk, which Uraraka doesn't even try to say anything about because she's like, I'm done with this guy. Would anyone else like to throw now? Asks Aizawa. And everyone stays quiet, and so, Aizawa says they'll come back to it at the end. So they begin their test. Izuku was set up with Bakugo for the 50-meter dash, and when they're told to go, Bakugo will then grin and blast off with explosions, but Izuku simply dashes using pure physical strength, and he would pass him easily, getting 2 seconds, leaving Aizawa impressed, and as Bakugo comes to land at the end, he gets mad. Use your goddamn quirk. Not until I need to, said Izuku, as he then walks off, and Bakugo rages while the boys find themselves enamored by how badass Izuku just is. The next test would consist of the side-to-side jumping and stuff like that, which is done by Izuku still just using physical strength again, and in physical stats, he is clearly impressive. And for the sand jump, he would then go over the entire box, still just using physical strength, and as he lands, Sate would say, Did Biju have super strength? No, he had his Biju bomb though, said Mineta. Aizawa would then ask Izuku why he's not using his quirks, and as he comes back to, the class, he would then say, I am. My abilities also give me permanent boost in strength, speed, and etc. Good to know, said the teacher. Izuku would then go on to crush the machine for the grip test, and as for flexibility, he's too flexible for someone who has such a ripped body. And when it came to the ball throw, he steps in last and actually bursts her chakra, as everyone will be on the edge of their figurative seats. And figurative? No, that's not the right word. Just tell me down below. And Izuku would then gather all the chakra to his right hand, and as the ball gains a scorching aura, this would surprise everyone. Izuku would then throw it as a massive heat wave sends them all flying to the ground, while the ball would then break the sound barrier, letting a loud boom be heard by everyone even outside the school. Izuku would then turn as everyone gets up, and he apologizes, but Tokuyami would then say, Flames. Incredible. That was awesome. I thought you had the same things as your dad, said Kirishima. Izuku would then walk to everyone as he explains what he just did, while Todoroki would then seethe with anger, and Izuku finishes explaining everything, which leaves them and even Aizawa a bit put off, as he shows on the tablet that Izuku had reached 2,000 meters. So, would you care to explain these elements you possess to me, if possible, Midoriya? You sound mad. I'm simply annoyed I wasn't informed, the teacher said, as Izuku basically said he can control different elements and substances that have a number of up to 9. He controlled 9 different types of elements and releases. But when the hell did you pull out some shit like that, Deku, yells Bakugo. My name is Izuku, Izuku says. He becomes noticeably angry, with Bakugo backing off and calming down, while Aizawa then said that everything was just a ruse, by the way, which made them all relieved and some shocked. They're then told to go and pick up their curriculum sheets, and they do, and after getting changed, they get ready to leave for the day, when Ida then comes to Izuku. Would you like to walk to the train station together? I live in a forest, says Izuku, but I can still come. Ida would then push up his glasses, saying he was sorry to bother him, and Izuku said no problem, while Kirishima would then ask if he really lived in a forest. Yep, aside from being goofy, my father was also pretty cheap. But aren't you, loaded? Asked Kaminari. I never said the house wasn't nice, we just built it ourselves instead of using money, with a little help from Mr. Cementos as well. They're all surprised Izuku is just dropping hero names like it's nothing, and it's just really cool. So Izuku would then walk with Ida to the station, and they do get along pretty well. They just need to get to know each other better. Now we're going to cut to the next day when 1A gathers back in class and they have normal lessons, have lunch, but when their final class comes in, it is when All Might will then walk into class and he says, Good morning, everyone. It's really All Might, he's even in his silverish costume. The hero will then say that his class will include trials of battle. Gather outside the ground beta, I assume you know where it is? They all say yes, with All Might then bringing out the suitcases containing their costumes from a wall by using a remote. They all run to them and get excited while Izuku just walks to the door and All Might would then follow behind him, asking, "Didn't you order one?" "You'll see," said Izuku. With the hero saying it sounds pretty surprising, and he would then see and everyone else would then see Izuku just walking with All Might, and they are reminded that All Might and the Biju were like best friends. "He even has All Might's attention," thought Todoroki. The students, however, do go to the locker rooms. Only Izuku and All Might just hang out, and he never did change much. He just went into his gym uniform for now. And as soon as everyone comes out, All Might will then commend them on how hero-like they look now, before then looking to Izuku. Oh, right. The young hero would then explode with chakra, as it would then form into a white robe all around him, and his skin will become grayish as he grows 2 horns, and he holds his arm out, and a staff would then form out of thin air, leaving all of them shocked, as he just looked exactly like his father. "So he was never a costume?" asked All Might. "Nope, Dad taught me how to do this the second day I got my quirk." "That's so convenient, you don't have to waste time to get ready," said Momo. Quickly, however, All Might then gets into their trials, no time for all that jibber jabber, and explains that they're gonna fight each other. And he actually explains it very well. He's actually a pretty good teacher in this one, and you can guess why. If you can't, then I'll tell you later. And lots will then be picked out for teams before then choosing which team will be facing which. When Izuku and Todoroki's teams are put against each other, the class feel the tension rise, at least from Todoroki's side, and they cannot believe that the 2 sons of heroes are gonna fight. "Let's have a good match, Midoriya," said Todoroki, as Izuku would then slightly bow, saying that he hopes they do. "Lucky bastard," thought Bakugo. Izuku and Uraka are then designated as the hero team and are given a map of the building to memorize before they enter. Meanwhile, Todoroki and Shoji would wait by the bomb. As soon as All Might says to begin, Izuku would then fly he and Uraka in through a window, and then they start walking after landing. "That staff's really cool, what can it do?" asked Uraka. Izuku would then state that it allows him to cancel out quirks, and this takes her by surprise. She says that his powers make no sense, and he can't exactly disagree, but he understands chakra on a much higher level than everyone else present or in the entire world. As they continue their walk, soon they would then start to see their breath, and can tell Todoroki is getting closer, because everything is just getting cold, and instantly this is when their feet will be flash frozen, and the entire bottom half of the building would be as well, just as Todoroki would then run out of the corner, and he swipes up, creating a massive iceberg, only for Izuku to meet this attack with a punch. He blows it away by enhancing himself with chakra before then appearing right before Todoroki, who is surprised right as he is then punched in the stomach and thrown down the hall. Izuku then looks back to Uraraka, who is still frozen, so he strikes his staff into the ice, causing cracks to free her before a truth orb would then form of the staff and fly to her. And as she catches it, it would then turn into a blunt but quite powerful looking shield. And with a nod, she then runs away because she got the gist, and this is when Todoroki would then fill the halls with flames. "They're too wild," said Izuku, as he then points his staff forward and fires a Biju round that would then pierce Todoroki's flames before then hitting him right in the same spot that he punched him in, and this would make him choke on his own blood as he would hit the ceiling like a ragdoll after just spinning around. "Ooh," Class 1A exclaims. "I thought he'd at least get one shot in, but Midoriya is just too strong," says Sato. "Oh my, do you know what that staff is for?" asked Mama. "It can essentially cancel out quirks. It's very effective for emitter types especially. Then staying away from it is the most essential, but his speed could also trip you up," said Tokuyami. "It'd be better if you just toughed it out until you get even one hit in," said Kirishima. All Might is just glad to see that they're not letting Izuku's overwhelming power set make them cower, and it's very good development. Uraka meanwhile will be trying to fight Shoji while he was blocking many of his blows, and though Uraka is not like really strong, so his pure strength knocks her back, as she would then buckle when she's then caught by Izuku, who helps her stand. "Thanks," she would say. "No problem. I distract him, you get the bomb," said Izuku. As he then swung his staff forward, and he releases a whip, and at it would start to wrap around Shoji, who was then thrown aside while Uraraka ran forward, just as Shoji would then get back up, and the whip would then pull back as he finds Izuku standing in front of him. "This is why he should have stayed," thought Shoji, as Uraraka would then touch the bomb, with All Might announcing them as the winners, and Izuku would then lessen up with Shoji doing the same. "It was a good fight," said Izuku, and he would then leave his Ten Tails form and the entire cloak, and Shoji would then say that he doesn't have to be modest, but Izuku says he's being serious. "My staff saps your strength, so it's only natural you lost, but if not, you could have gotten free and at least attacked, so thank you for the good fight." "No problem," says Shoji. Many other teams would then partake in team battles and do fairly well in terms of prowess, and they do have skill, power, and confidence to be heroes for sure. But it all comes to a stop as everyone finishes their turns, and Izuku says goodbye to Ida, who had to leave early for the day, and this is when they hears the voice of Todoroki as he's heading to the UA gates and out. "Yes," he would say as he turns around, and Todoroki would then run up and come to a stop. You won't win forever. So do you want to take a moment to gather your thoughts first?" asked Izuku, and embarrassed Todoroki would then proceed to calm down before then saying, "I'll catch up and beat you. You can't win forever." Izuku would then smile to this, however, saying, "Yes, I will." His voice has no arrogance, no need to over exaggerate. He simply said what he felt was to come, and Todoroki felt a chill run down his spine while Izuku would then turn and head home, leaving Todoroki at a loss for words. But this is when All Might would then walk past him. I'm well aware of your relationship with your father. These words surprised the student, as All Might would then tell him to loosen up. Your father is a prideful man. Neither him or I could ever be Izuku's father, so he keeps comparing you to him, but you really need to know what you're actually here for. It's not for him, is it? Definitely not, said Todoroki. Then fight because you want to be a hero, not to prove him wrong, said All Might. With these words, he then walks forward as Todoroki would have to truly think about his purpose at UA, because everyone else seems to have a sort of proper motivation, yet he has none, despite being one of the most powerful. The next day, meanwhile, everyone comes back to class and the president is decided, and at first it would be Izuku, but he designates Ida for the job and even helps him by making a platform for him to fly up and reach the students to calm them down when the incident occurs. So Ida becomes president, but this incident was a pretty big deal since someone broke the way barrier. Instantly, the Hero Association would start to wonder if this little attack had an even more underlying issue, But one day it's still allowed to go to the USJ for some training, but the security is raised up way higher. Police officers are outside and inside, and when the class arrives, they would just be shown around when Uraka would then whisper to Izuku, "This all feels super top secret. It's just because they don't want what happened yesterday to happen again." Oh, and if you look over there, we have the landslide area, said 13. Are we using it today, asked Mina. Today we're starting out with that building over there. It'll be set on fire. That seems a bit extreme, says Suyu, with Baku then saying to bring it on because he doesn't care. The tour would then soon come to an end, and they all reconvene at the top of the stairs as 13 would give her speech before they're prepared to move out. However, sensing an ominous chakra, Izuku would then body figure before the entire class as he yells for the police officers and everyone to get ready for a villain attack. And this is when a portal would then open in the middle of the zone below. Quickly, all the officers take out their walkie-talkies, only for an EP to take it out, forcing them to start evacuating, and this is when they see villains start flooding the area, so they're hurrying up. Aizawa, however, is then grabbed and lifted, and they all turn to see a Nomu as they would then leap away, just as Kurogiri would then encircle the kids with a dark-like barrier. We can't get in. The kids are trapped. We can't even get in. Kurogiri inside would then speak. I apologize, but I cannot let you leave. Well, you don't have much of a choice in the matter, said Izuku, as he tells everyone to duck, and as they do, he swings his staff while he turns into a long sight that rips through the villain's darkness. He then feels weakened and regathers to his much more humanoid form, just as he's then grabbed by Izuku, who sends a punch into his stomach, and he would then land to the ground by Izuku's many truth orbs, which would then imprison him and just keep him in a container from, shoulder to toe. Yeah, he's just, his head is free, but he's just trapped. And it's also molded in the body, the shape of his body, so he's pretty tight in there. Izuku would then fall to the ground as officers would run over thanking him for his work as they recognize the young hero, who then turns to his entire class and he would then say, "We have to step in." Right, 13? He looks at the hero, who looks back to see Aizawa being held hostage and doesn't know what kind of choice to make, but she says to go right ahead, and in that instant, Izuku would then appear right in front of the Nomu, who stood beside Shigaraki now, and the villains would then hear an explosion go off as Shigaraki would then be pushed to the ground, and as he looks up, he would then see Izuku land down with Aizawa, who after putting on his goggles then slips a punch into Shigaraki's face, knocking him out, and this is when the rumbling of footsteps are heard. Far off, Aizawa would then see flashes of explosions, ice, and fire. He sees cannonballs being shot and loud thuds going off as the students of 1A battle. However, Mineta is the first to soon be cornered when Izuku would then appear, grabbing the villain attacking by the head, and he would then slam it to the ground. "You okay?" Yeah, thanks," said Mineta. But the students were overall faring pretty well, considering this was their first time ever dealing with something like this. Izuku, meanwhile, would then take flight as he then lets go of his staff and he would float on his own while he claps his hands together, and he releases a wave of chakra that would apply his magnet release to some villains, and they are then pulled up to him before them being encased in ice when they get close enough. "Sand coffin," said Izuku, as they would be squeezed, making them scream in pain, and seeing this demoralizes many of the villains, who also recognize that form, which is very parallel to Izuku's father. That alone, just scares the hell out of them. "I don't know who sent you, but today you have lost," said Izuku. As the fight continued, the students would hold their own, and Izuku would help, of course, a lot, and all my other heroes would then soon come due to police officers calling them, the ones that were outside, and ambulances were called because the students were fighting much more up close. They were sneak attacked and cut and bruised. And as Izuku takes a walk outside, more and more ambulances arrive as he would then say, "Please, hurry, in there." And as they go with a nod, out of nowhere, Izuku is then bombarded by reporters who keep asking him questions, but quickly some police officers come to shield him, just as Izuku would then tap his staff, erupting a wall of sand, I'll say, leaving them amazed as Izuku would then fly over it, saying, "I'm well aware you have a job, but so do they, so please stay back." "Right, sorry, we'll interview after?" "No thanks," said Izuku, as he then dropped and landed, but despite his attitude, the reporters cannot help but find him just cool and just awesome. He sounds like he sounded annoying, but he's not wrong. Let the people do their job. The reporters never did get their interview though. They wanted to get something, but the kids were sent back home really quick and protected, and this would all go on the news regardless. And Izuku was called in by the Hero Association, who will actually be named in this timeline. I'll give them all names. The president is Yamato, his two vices are called Tsunade and Sai, while the two others will be named Choza and Shikaku. Izuku would then stand before the members, asking why he was here. Sorry to bring you out at such a terrible time, Midoriya, but we have learned that you possess something that may very well help us, said Yamato. My quirk canceling. I'm happy to have it mass-produced in some way to stop villains, but honestly, I also don't trust you. How's Lady Nagant doing again? The war would then become quiet, saying he shouldn't even know about something like that, but he says it's hard not to. I sense her guarding me at some point. How can I trust that you won't just use this to make people suffer like her? Or should I bring up Sir Hawks instead? You shouldn't even have suspected that, said Sai. Again, I can sense people. Espionage is a handy skill, but it's useless against me, said Izuku. Fine, said Yamato, I'll make you a deal. We will do everything as you watch. Since you can survey everything, it'd be better that way, right? Izuku would then take a long pause and say, sure, as he then holds his hand out, forming one of his orbs, and it would then take the shape of basic police cuffs, and he walks to Yamato, and he lays it down before him. Let's get started if possible right away, said Izuku. Of course, said Yamato. Time skip 2 days. As we return to class one day, they be talking about how crazy the villain attack was. Dude, I got so nervous I could barely breathe, said Kirishima. It's a good thing they had extra security, said Koda. Alright, be quiet. As they look forward, they would then see Aizawa, who then walk in, and he would have a cast in a sling, and Suya would then say, sorry about your arm, sensei. Hey, no mind. For now, we need to address the arrival of the UA Sports Festival. They would all explode with the excitement, even Izuku, who was usually just calm and apathetic, because he was waiting for this moment. This was the chance to show the world that he would not only become the #1 hero and stronger than his father, but he was also just going to change it in a way that I think you will all love a lot. Security will be triple, so there's no need to worry, said Aizawa. But these events are needed. They're a big part of your hero journey. It's not just heroes from Japan, but many more will come from other countries. I expect nothing but the best. Yes, sensei, said everyone. After this, they would then attend 4th period and get ready for lunch, and Uraka instantly has a change in attitude as she would then pump her fist into the sky. Guys, let's do our best. Yeah, sure, said Kirishima. I said let's do our best, she'd say, as everyone would then instantly join her in doing the pose. And Sarah would then say, I can see why you're excited, though. We're finally going to be shown, on live TV. That's a big deal. It's like a dream come true, said Mina. What about you, Todoroki? As she looks at him, Todoroki would simply stand, saying, I'm gonna win. He walks out of the room, and this would dampen the mood very much, but they can understand that he's just very determined, especially after his loss against Izuku. They would then all go to lunch, and as Uraka joins Ida and Izuku, she'd say why she was so motivated, and Izuku would then take a bite from his meal, saying, You shouldn't feel so ashamed. A hero is still just someone working. I've seen how it can break someone. Trust me, it's not all smiles and giggles. Your father had times like that? Asked Ida. Of course, he's still human. Mom used to always make him something or make him laugh, and he'd have a smile back, but it didn't make the pressure disappear. Anyway, it's fine if it's for money. I want to make my dad happy, too. And my mom. That's the main reason, she would say. That's even better. Now you have an actual goal to strive towards. Just like a hero, said Ida. Yeah, said Uraka. Feeling much more at ease with her goal and feeling less shameful of it, they finish up lunch and they would return to class and have their final period before them preparing to leave. And this is when they find some students actually blocking their way. What are they doing here? Asked Mineta. It's clear it's for war, dipshit, said Bakugo. They want to get a look at the kids who survived the villain attack. Now what the hell do you want? From the band of murmuring students, then walks out Shinso, who says, we did just want to come check you guys out, but are all 1A students really like you? He comes to the front and says that, well, if they lose, then they can be, put down. I mean, if they win, then people from the lower classes can be put up. And he says, I understand the reverse is also possible for you, so this is the perfect time to just knock you off your pedestals. However, while he makes his declaration, Izuku would just walk past him like nothing, and he comes face to face with the students who get starstruck at his appearance, and Shinso would then look back feeling serious just from his presence, and the news showed him being very helpful during the whole thing, when the analysts, the reporters, and everything, everyone basically knows that Izuku had a big part in saving everyone. Excuse me, but could I leave? Asked Izuku. The students would then make way, allow him to leave, and he soon would just be on the halls, as Bakugo would then smirk, saying, You really came to talk big when that bastard was here? Knock us off our pedestals, please, says the guy who was obviously overcompensating for something, said Shinso. Bakugo would then visibly get angry, with everyone clearly realizing Shinso is not here to play around. 2 weeks are then given to everyone to get ready before they show their prowess at the festival, and in the first week, the creation of the quirk apprehension tools is announced, consisting of cuffs and the updated maiden, which was what was used to, capture All for One, but now it will be enhanced with that anti-quirk thing. And we find Mount Lady entering the stadium with Death Arms and Kamui Woods. Are they giving them to heroes or what, she asked. It's like likely that they cancel your quirk upon touch, so probably not, said Kamui. And as the stadium gets packed, the 1A and 1B and many of their classes will be in their waiting room, simply waiting for President Mike to call them out. And this time, Todoroki does not make a declaration, as he's already made it very clear he just wishes to beat Izuku, and he will try his utmost to do so, even using his fire. Like, Izuku can already use fire, he'd be stupid not to use it. So, he also carries All Might's words to heart this time, so he's thinking about it. And as time comes, they are all called out and proceed to march outside, with the crowd being very happy at them showing up, and Izuku's arrival especially catches their attention, and as they cheer for him, this would make the other classes envious and angry for them hogging the spotlight. And Midnight will then call him to the podium and ask Bakugo to come give the same speech, and he does give the speech. He angers everyone, he directs their anger towards him, he wants to be attacked, he wants to become number one, so he's doing everything he can. And this is when the obstacle race is then set up. The kids all gather around a gate heading out to the course, and they're given the signal to start. And instantly, Izuku will then leap into the air as he sticks upside down while running forward, just as an explosion of frost then blinds him. Todoroki then runs out on the other side, taking the lead, but quickly Izuku will then fly past him. Izuku Midoriya takes the lead, using his power of flight. It's so nostalgic, isn't it, folks, said President Mike, as Izuku will then quickly reach a horde of robots attacking, and they be like giant zero-pointers as well. They were just like blocking his way. And as President Mike asked how Izuku was going to deal with this, he would then hold his hands out as he forms two giant Bijudama, as he would then shoot, and they pierce the giants so fast that they would just barely see the impact of it. Like, they appeared and disappeared so fast, and the things were just destroyed. He annihilated all the zero-pointers with ease and continued to fly forward until he reached the pit, which he easily passed. And in short terms, he finished quite fast, and of course only gets heroes more and more interested in him, while he just waits in the directed waiting room afterwards. He's just chilling. He waits for about 20 minutes when Midnight will then come in and call him out, and as he takes a step out, he rejoins the class as he would now be getting glares from all the students. Looks like things just got tough for you, Midoriya, said Jiro. I'm fine with it. We're not here to make friends. He would then come to face Midnight as he will be in his crowd of students, and he will watch her spin the roulette while heroes and people keep discussing how much potential resides in 1A, and this is when the cavalry battle is selected. Oh, and Midoriya, because you came in first, you'll be given 10 million points, which means everyone is going to be after you on this trial, said Midnight. And as everyone slightly looks back to him, he would then just smile. He doesn't care, and he thought, I'm not going to lose anyway. We will end this off here. Welcome to the end of the video. Tell me how that first part was. I think it was pretty swell. So y'all better get ready for the second one, because, ooh, again, it's about to go crazy. I'm about to change so much. And I love that I can affect the world in such a way. Y'all can give a thanks to Dr. Futuristic down in the comments section if you see him. He suggested this amazing idea. Just want to shout him out. Yeah, just thank him a lot. Because even if this shit doesn't get that many views, bro, this is so fun. And it's like, what if Deku get it works all over again? I just can't help myself. Alright, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blown me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn, and I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving.